everybody. Welcome to our LipiLife meeting. You have taken a very big step to improve your health. This is what we are doing is quite revolutionary. It will prevent a lot of health issues that are deeply troubling our society today, and it is rather serious when you look at the cost of healthcare that we have today. This is the health spending in United States from 1960 to projected 2020. In 1960, we spent 27 billion. In 1990, we spent 724 billion. In 2010, we spent 2.6 trillion. In 2020, we are projecting to spend 4.5 trillion on healthcare. And this looks very, very depressing. And as Uwe Reinhardt, economist out of Princeton, says, if we continue at this pace, in a few years, we will all be sitting on king-size beds and providing healthcare to each other. So this cannot continue, and what is the solution to that? Why do we think LipiLife is a solution to that? And we will talk about that just in a few minutes. We will today cover nutrition fundamentals, which I think we all know, but yet there are new twists, new angles to it that we would like to discuss today. And why is nutrition? There is a growing interest in nutrition in society today, but it is complex. So it seems that everybody is interested in nutrition, but yet at the same time everybody is confused. Because sometimes I go to yogurt bars and I hear people talking about, so I overheard a conversation among two women, one saying, so yogurt is good for you, huh? The other one saying, well, at least that's what they're saying today. So, and that's because there are a number of factors that change what is right and what is not right. And so the blanket statement that this is good for you or this is bad for you is leading us into a difficult spot. So we'll talk a little bit about that. How did Asha Nutrition Sciences come into being? What brought us here? What is the scientific evidence? Why do we think that what we are doing is so remarkable and so beneficial for everybody? What is the product? How do we use it? We've had some questions. How do you use this product? How do you add it to your food that you're used to eating? Do you use fat in other food or not? We will try LipiLife and we will ask you for some feedback. So lipids actually are extremely important for health, and they, as Dr. Prakash is here among us today, and she gives lectures on lipids and the importance of lipids for health, and I'm very pleased to have her here. Lipids are so important. They are used for energy storage, they are involved in cell signaling, they are involved in gene regulation, they are precursors of hormones, and they are crucial cell membrane components. So fatty acids are building blocks of complex lipids. There is lipids include your monounsaturated, polyunsaturated, saturated fatty acids, and also some fat-soluble vitamins and steroids. So there's been a major debate in the scientific community as to which fat is good for you, which fat is bad for you, and we've heard it one by one. Every single fat has been singled out, and every single fat has been called, this is bad, this is good, 3 was good, now 6 is good. So I think this is something that we've been going back and forth on, and so people have been confused. And the truth of the matter is that there is no single fat that is bad or good. It's how you put the whole thing together. It's how much and in what context. So all fatty acids actually compete in metabolism. So if you have omega-6 and 3 is good for you, but if you have a lot of monounsaturated, saturated or saturated, it can block your 6 and 3. metabolism can be blocked. So it's really about how much you're having. And since hormones, antioxidants, phytochemicals can change the metabolism, so then it becomes critical that all of these factors are taken into account when we formulate lipid formulation. So we know that there are several phytochemicals that will block the metabolism into long chain omega-6. So for example, curcumin, which is a component of turmeric, which Indians use very regularly, and we pretty much every dish we make, we add turmeric to it, because probably centuries ago Indians figured out that turmeric had fantastic properties, anti-inflammatory properties. And actually turmeric, I have a paper that it regulates something like 300 genes, curcumin. So if and curcumin, there are papers that show that curcumin can block the metabolism of omega-6 into arachidonic acid, and that DGLA accumulates. So, and there are similar reports on other phytochemicals, sesamin. There are reports on sesamin that sesamin can do that. So if all of that can happen, then why do we think that just taking a omega-3 capsule or omega-6 capsule is going to solve the problem? And so there are a number of factors that we have to address if we really want to make progress in this direction. Otherwise, we are doing the same thing. We're going round and round, chasing our tail, and then we are saying, well, today we are saying this, tomorrow we are saying that. So that's why what we are doing is very interesting, and we'll talk more about that. So although lipids make less than 40% of our diet, but they're associated with 80% of the health issues. And they affect a broad range of health aspects, from mood to digestion to musculoskeletal vision, function to vision to reproduction. So as an example, in muscle genes regulated by lipid intake, so the 3 categories of fatty acids you can see, they all are involved in regulating fatty acids, and 5,429 genes altogether by 3 fatty acids are regulated in muscle cells. So the right balance of antioxidants is important for health. Now we've been told that antioxidants are very important for you, and there's been so much push on antioxidants which is justified up to a point, but there are some issues with that also. So lipid molecules are more susceptible to peroxidation, and that's believed to lead to many diseases. Antioxidants protect lipid molecules from peroxidation, but at low levels, lipid peroxidation exerts beneficial effects. So human body is very well programmed that it responds to the stimulus. At low level, lipid peroxidation actually enhances antioxidant enzymes and adaptive mechanisms. So if you are not giving the body the chance to utilize those adaptive mechanisms, so you're sort of blunting the adaptive mechanisms. So therefore, having mega doses of antioxidants and having mega doses of phytochemicals does not get us the benefit that we need. So in order to exert beneficial effects, lipid peroxidation must be strictly controlled. And so here, this is again what we've discussed, that phytochemicals have antioxidant properties, and they also affect cell membrane structure and processes. They can accumulate in cell membrane. Curcumin is known to accumulate in cell membrane. So it's got long-term effect. If you've been consuming curcumin for a long time, it's altered your physiology. Yes? Yeah. So it's altered your physiology, and in essence, phytochemicals themselves will turn into oxidants. So it's quite complex. And so mismanaged consumption of these nutrients will lead to any kinds of diseases, even arthritis or heart disease or asthma. This is a survey done by American Dietetic Association. and they divided the consumers into three types. One that said, well, I'm already doing it, I maintain a healthy diet, regular exercise are important to me, and I'm doing all I can. And then there was a group that I know I should, then there's a group that says, don't bother me. So there's been a study increase in the last 8 years, since 91 to 2008, among people, I'm already doing it, and the number of people don't bother me has gone down. And it's interesting because when we go further to another slide, even the people who say don't bother me, that I'm not interested in nutrition, actually they really are following it, and I'll show you that in a moment. So they first react, don't bother me, but in reality they also follow. So it's really catching on that everybody is interested in nutrition, but they don't have the right tools. So this is a Nielsen Healthy Eating Index survey conducted by the Nielsen company. And you can see how the healthy eating index has been going up. And any food in year-over-year sales that had omega claim went up 42% in sales. And this is 52 weeks ending December 2009. So that's how we are consuming anything, because science studies a nutrient at a time, and at that particular time that nutrient gains media attention, and that nutrient becomes the talk of the time, the ingredient of the time, and later on we find out that we've actually gone too far. So that's, those are the things that disturbed us, and we have thought of a solution that we believe is the way to the future. So this is another slide, and here you see increase in foods and nutrients in the last 5 years. Low-fat foods have gone up 48% in the last 5 years. And so this is what I was talking about. Look at this, an interesting statistic here. This is a don't bother me group, and they say that they don't bother me, but they've also 40% increase in low-fat foods among your don't bother me group. So it's actually not don't bother me. They lied. So this is why we were formed. We were frustrated with this whole story. We decided that something needs to be done about it, and what do we do? If lipids are the most sensitive nutrient, if lipids are related to so many health issues, then what if we pre-formulate lipids? And our vision is to improve health and address the root cause of disease globally. We've built together a very impressive group of scientists who are working with us. We've been building a global scientific group. So we have scientists in Europe, we have scientists in China. We've been gathering this group so that we have spokespeople in each geography. We have scientists here in US. And Dr. Das is an authority on the subject. He has 30 years of experience in clinical and research experience in internal medicine, diabetology, endocrinology, and rheumatology. And he's published over 450 papers in lipid science, and he has 3 books on the subject. So we are a wellness company. We want to tailor nutrition. So if there are so many nutrients that one has to watch, if there are 50 nutrients that one has to watch for good health, then are we going to, how do we do that? So the one solution is we pre-package food for everybody. We say, okay, here's a packet for you, here's a 1 week supply for you, take this in the morning, take this in the lunch, and take this in the dinner, and you'll be set. But there are companies that have tried to do that. There's Jenny Craig, there's Weight Watchers, they do that, they make packaged meals. And it doesn't sell. For the published reports show that Jenny Craig, people don't stick to Jenny Craig any more than 6 weeks. And that's because people get bored. So there is a problem with trying to force feed people what a company or a few product development people in a company might say that this is what you should be eating. But that doesn't work. So therefore we came up with a solution that we are not going to tell people what you should eat or what you should not eat. You like eating meat? Eat meat. We'll just formulate lipids for you. Because this is where the 80% of the problem is, right? So we'll pre-formulate lipids for you. If you are vegetarian, we'll pre-formulate lipids for you. And if you consume seafood, a lot of seafood, we'll pre-formulate lipids for you. And that's actually a very easy division. Because actually there are strong preferences among people along those lines. So there are Midwesterns, they eat a lot of meat. You know? And we Indians eat a lot of vegetables, we are vegetarians, you know, big vegetarians. And people who live on coastal towns are big seafood consumers. And so it's not difficult actually. People in New Zealand eat a lot of seafood, right? So it was, so these are very good categories, and actually people will be a little bit open to the guidance within these categories. If people say, well, I am a seafood consumer, but I really do love seafood. If seafood and phytochemicals have interactions, you tell me what phytochemicals I shouldn't be having. And so we can do that. We can pre-formulate low lipid complements to complement the lipids that we are preparing, and that is on our agenda. That is something we want to do. But of course, the first things first. You know, what we need to address, what we want to address first is lipids, because that's you know, the big area. So we formulate lipids by gender, by lifestyle, by age. We will do that as we continue doing at the present time. We've just done 3 series, and in these 3 series we've done for women and men. And I want to share 3 papers with you. Of course, there is a lot of data on this now coming out. When we started doing this in 2008, there was very little data on omega-6. Everybody was just talking about omega-6. The story has since then flip-flopped, and we were the first ones in 2008 to say that this mega doses of omega-3 is not the right way to go, because we had then figured out that neural disease will be caused by increasing so much omega-3, and particularly long-chain omega-3. Everybody was saying take EPA, DHA, because that EPA and DHA is not easily formed by the body, and therefore you need to take it preformed, therefore it will prevent all these diseases. But that's not the case. Human brain, adult brain, consumes 4 times arachidonic acid versus DHA in a day. So if you need 4 times arachidonic acid on a daily basis, then you need maybe 50 times linoleic acid, because the equal competition between linoleic acid and alpha-linolenic acid is achieved at a ratio of 14:1 because of the enzyme infinity. So if that's the case, then for a long time we've been telling everybody to take omega-3. Why? So there's a problem with that. So it means that we have to pre-formulate all these things first, and we have to do it by diet category. And because there are many phytochemicals that will do it. We know about curcumin, we know about sesamin, we know about sterols. So there's a problem with the way we've been going, and here's a symposium paper that was written, conclusion from a symposium held by National Lipid Association, and monounsaturated fatty acids were called to question. There is data showing that monounsaturated fatty acids are associated with atherosclerosis. And we've been selling olive oil, aisles and aisles of olive oil if you go to a grocery store, and that's quite sad. And the 3 points that they made was monounsaturated fatty acid may not be good, dietary PUFA is more protective than monounsaturated, and omega-3 benefits are elusive. And that's what we are saying, they are elusive. Because they'll help you in the beginning, in the long run they cause a problem because they'll block your long-chain omega-6 formulation. This was held in 2012, and so we predicted this in 2008. That's when our IP was formed. This is another paper on PUFA and learning disorders. This was published in 2009. We said that in 2008 that ADHD, learning disorders, is actually a deficiency of omega-6, and that's what they're saying. That omega-6 and omega-3 PUFA are significantly below normal. This was particularly true for children. Authors theorized that children in Western countries may be eating a diet containing suboptimal arachidonic acid. So it's arachidonic acid that's such a big problem, and we haven't been paying attention to this, paying attention to wrong stuff. And this is another paper, Scientific Evidence, PUFA and Cancer, omega-6 inhibited colorectal cancer cell growth. And we predicted that in 2008. We said in our filings that tissue repair could be enhanced by omega-6, by increasing omega-6. And tissue repair is actually, it's cancer. Some people have called cancer a wound that never heals. So tissue repair is healing of the wound, right? So here we are. Now this is the evidence. So therefore we said, okay, if this is so important, and if it is going to change, if your phytochemicals are going to block the metabolism of arachidonic acid, and if omega-3 is going to block the metabolism of arachidonic acid, because actually people who consume a lot of fish are consuming a lot of EPA and DHA. And EPA and DHA are potent inhibitors of the desaturase enzymes, the enzymes that are going to make arachidonic acid. So if they are, so then it immediately strikes you that if they are consuming so much fish, then the formulation has to be different for them. And so this is how we came up with this categorization that people who are eating seafood or a lot of vegetarian food or meat diets, we have to do different formulations for them, and within them different for men and women, because men and women metabolize fat differently. And requirements are different. You know, you have a 6 foot tall person, 100 and 200 pounds, and then you have a woman who is generally 150, 160 pounds. The fat requirement is different, right? And women generally need less omega-3 than men. So, a little bit information on how to consume LipiLife. We will taste after these couple of slides that we have. The bottle, there are 6 types of bottle, 3 diet types, men and women, and each bottle has directions on it. We've done modeling. We've done. It appears to be difficult to do, but actually it's not. When we walk into a grocery store, we see thousands and thousands of foods, and we think that, oh my God, how would you ever model this thing? But it's not so difficult, because the basic foods that we consume are actually very few. There are only 2 or 3 types of grains we eat, rice, wheat, yeah, mostly, and there are only 10 or 15 types of legumes or lentils we eat. There are only 20 or so fruits we eat or vegetables we eat. So it was not complex. So you do a model that someone who eats meat 5 times a week is eating this much meat, or someone who eats fish this many times a week. You can model it, and then you model it and you get them. So at the present time, people are eating like this. Their lipid consumption in relation to what their requirement is like this, sometimes up, sometimes down. With our program, they will be in a band. Might be a little bit up, might be a little bit lower, but the range of error is cut down. So what you do, so we've formulated it. This is a daily dosage that replaces your current oil. So we recommend that you don't add oil to your vegetables or dals. Or in any case, it's not a good idea to cook with fat, because often we end up damaging the molecules, the oil molecules, particularly the omega-6s and omega-3s. And we recommend that you use this as a dressing. So you make your food, you make your stew or your soup or your whatever, and then you put it on top of it. So often, even on pancakes, so what I do is make my pancakes in a non-stick pan, and then put whatever fruit puree or whatever I want to put on it, and drizzle it with oil, just like you do in case of maple syrup. So that's how I use it. And take LipiLife with you in anywhere. It comes, there are little portable vials that come with the bottle, and you take your daily dosage anywhere with you. You consume very little of nuts and seeds, because nuts and seeds are rich in fat, and we've already pre-formulated that for you. And then nuts and seeds are also rich in phytochemicals, sterols, so we don't recommend that you take too much of these things. So, and avoid cooking with oil. And you have to notice it you have to try it for 4 weeks or so, or sometimes it might take a little bit longer. Actually, we have a symptom log that we are going to put on our website. And interesting thing is that actually when you start taking LipiLife, it can give you adverse symptoms. It can give you any of these symptoms. It can make you feel dusty when you breathe, because it is rich in omega-6, and omega-6 will do that. When you begin taking omega-6, it will do that. So it can give you headache, it can make you feel lethargic, it can make you feel melancholy, it can make you feel full. So it's known that omega-3 enhances mood, and we believe that that's a temporary feeling. And that's what we have found in our experiments, that's a temporary feeling. Omega-3 enhances mood, it makes you feel better, but then if you withdraw it, then it makes you feel depressed or sad. And that's the same thing happens with omega-6 when you, but in the reverse direction. When you take increase omega-6, it makes you feel sad, because it's whether it's omega-6 itself or whether it's because it's blocking omega-3, we don't know that, or a combination of the two. So when you start, it makes you feel sad, but then when you continue on it, it makes you feel a little bit depressed, or not in your full spirits. And then when you continue on it, week, 2 weeks later, that comes down. That feeling, your mood actually improves. After that, your memory improves a little bit later. So it's a delayed effect with omega-6. These are some questions that we get asked. How do I cook without oil? Which I just addressed. What we do is we use an iron skillet where you can dry roast your spices or cumin or onion, and just add it to pre-cooked food, just like tadka, just the way we make tadka. What do I use on my bread? If I can't use butter, we'll use spreads. This is why we came up with these spreads and sauces, because we wanted to address the most sensitive area first. Because if we are pre-formulating lipids for people and we are saying you take this and don't take anything else, then the first area where people are feeling uncomfortable is, well, okay, then how do I do for butter? I'm used to having dressing in my salad. What do I do for that? So the solution is that we are preparing these low lipid complements that are designed to, one, they don't have fat, and two, they don't have certain other phytochemicals that might be offensive. For example, that might not work well with the program, or that might be harmful otherwise also. So there are many nut butters available in the market today. So nut butters are going to have a problem, one, that it has a lot of fat in it, and two, that it has phytochemicals and antioxidants that we are talking about that you shouldn't have in excess. And I think people generally know that nuts and seeds have a very narrow window of healthful effects, particularly when they've been pre-formulated and they've been sitting on the shelf for a very long time. So that's a problem with that kind of a solution. So therefore we came up with these sauces and spreads that are designed to go with LipiLife, and so you can use this on butter. So you use a layer of that and use your oil on top of it. What if you are eating at a restaurant? You can nowadays, every restaurant offers you food without fat if you so choose. You can say no fat please. What types of food does LipiLife taste best with? LipiLife has a neutral buttery taste. We've purposely kept it so. So for example, when you have olive oil, it has a very strong grassy taste, and this does not. This is neutral, buttery. The reason we've kept it so is that you can use it with any kind of food, whether savory or sweet or anything like that. And you don't need to store it in refrigerator. Actually, it has a short shelf life because it has oils that omega-3, which tends to spoil quickly. And the bottle is actually designed for 7 days to 10 days at max. The bottle will be used up because this is actually supposed to be your only main fat source. And this is another question that I'm asked: if I only use occasionally, if I use it in addition to other fat that I'm used to having, does it still give me benefits? So the answer is that you will have incremental health benefits with compliance, but even at a low level, it will help you. So it will be better situation than omega-3 capsules that people have been told to take, because one, we are not giving you EP and DHA, because as I just mentioned, EP and DHA are potent inhibitors of the desaturase enzymes, and that's going to affect your arachidonic acid formation. So therefore, this is still better. So if you're at this level, if you're taking 1/4 of the formulation, let's say your 60 ml is your daily suggested dosage and you're only taking 15 ml, so then you are still better, 15 ml, at that you're still better than taking a omega-3 supplement, for example, and that might get you in the safe zone. And as you comply more and more, if you use it outside home or take it with you to travel, so you're going to feel better and better. And if you also use the complementing module, it's going to make you feel better and better. So let's try it. Thank you. Yeah, so thank you.
I wish you well. I hope you get traction, because I think this is an important concept.
Yeah.
It will be very, very useful for people who do not know how to eat a balanced diet, and they have some lipid abnormalities or have risk factors. This will provide them a very well formulated program.
I think the concept of this is great, because it is finally addressing our need for managing our diet in a comprehensive basis instead of using individual amounts or individual items.
Right on this table, you have 6 different tracks going, which is incredibly complex.
Yeah.
So I commend you.
I know, and the flavor is really good.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it is actually.
It's actually like something I would consider putting on, like, salad and stuff.
Right. And it won't mask any flavor.
Exactly. So,
The whole idea of addressing people's physiological needs for lipids in a balanced way, and that addresses all the contradictions of various sources of lipids that we usually have. I think it's really a product for the future, and it should help a lot of people just transferring over to this kind of diet.